Puss in Boots is a brilliant film, and it has taken me a disgustingly long time to get round to watching it. As a DreamWorks fan, as a Shrek fan, I really should have seen this so much sooner, but there is one reason, one very simple reason why I didn't. I was worried Puss would make his puppy dog eyes, or I guess his kitty cat eyes. In Shrek, I think it's in Shrek, it could have been in one of the specials, but certainly Puss in Boots makes these big wide eyes and it melts my heart, and I'm pathetic. I get upset at animal films, even if they're not sad animal films, and that just breaks me every time. So I didn't want to watch this because I was worried Puss would do that. But I finally decided to grow up and watch it, and I'm pleased that I did. The film was released way back in 2011. It's directed by Chris Miller, written by Tom Wheeler, with a brilliant voice cast, including, of course, Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots. We also have Salma Hayek as Kitty Softpaws. We have Zach Galifianakis as Humpty Dumpty, and various others. The characters are a delight. It took me a bit of time to get used to Humpty Dumpty, this interpretation of Humpty Dumpty, but over time, I did. I will say the one thing I don't love about this, and it's going to sound really stupid, is the narrative. It's just not my kind of story, but I loved so many other aspects of it that I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll read the description from IMDb and I'll talk a little bit around this, but the description I thought was fabulous. IMDb says, an outlaw cat, his childhood egg friend, and a seductive thief Kitty set out in search for the eggs of the fabled golden goose to clear his name, restore his lost honour, and regain the trust of his mother and town. The whole going on this quest to clear his name and restore his honour, I don't care. I'm not that bothered about that part of the story. It's well written, but it's just not my kind of story. But what I did love is this quest where we have Kitty and Puss and Humpty Dumpty trying to find these beans and to get to plant the beanstalk to then get the goose with the golden eggs, and the fairy characters, the fairy tale characters, the nursery characters. I love them so much. And it's one of the reasons why I love Shrek, and it's one of the reasons why Shrek is so popular, because of the characters. And we do get a lot of that here, not to the extent that it is in Shrek, but enough that I felt satisfied. So the overarching narrative, I wasn't that bothered about, but the relationship between our main characters was really great to see. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And we get a flashback to when Puss in Boots first met Humpty Dumpty. He wasn't actually in his boots then, he was just Puss. And Kitten Puss is the cutest thing ever. It melted my heart as well. It definitely did. And I love him so much. So the story is well written. It was a little slow to begin with. The pacing definitely wasn't amazing to start off with, but once it got going, there was a lot of action. And while I wasn't invested in the overarching narrative, there was never a point when I felt bored, because there was always something going on, or a great bit of dialogue, or a fun bit of animation. So it was still a really beautiful film. And if you like the narrative, if it's your kind of story, then you might enjoy it even more. You may well think it's perfect. The animation quality is obviously absolutely stunning. And Puss in Boots is just... I love him. I love him so much as a character, which doesn't surprise me. I liked him in Shrek, but now that we got to know him on a much more personal level, I don't want to say he's my favourite animated cat, but I would struggle to write a top 5 list. I wouldn't know where I'd place him. He is amazing. As I said, it took me a bit of time to get used to this version of Humpty Dumpty, but over time, that did happen, so that's not a problem. Was it worth the 14-year wait? Absolutely. Absolutely worth the 14-year wait. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Obviously, I'm going to say if you're a fan of Shrek, you should watch it. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'm not going to say it's as good as Shrek. And also, the comedy style is maybe slightly different. It's not just that Shrek is funnier, which I think it is, but most films aren't as funny as Shrek, because Shrek's just golden. But I feel like the comedy style is maybe just ever so slightly different. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I just think it's a little bit different. But nevertheless, if you like that, you'll love this. If you're looking for a fun, adorable animation with a well-written story, beautiful animation, and some really great characters and voice acting, then needless to say, I 100% am happy to recommend it. Really looking forward to watching the sequel, and definitely think that this one's worth checking out.